That's good. Thank you. And thank you, Miles, for migraine, asking me to share my migraine story. When I was asked, I didn't really know what I wanted to share, and I was asked a while back, and I didn't know that today we were also be talking about advocacy, part of your treatment plan, which is going to be the focus of my story. I started with migraine when I was 3 years old. So it's been 22 years of living with migraine. And it was mentioned that I'm a third generation, but for a big portion of my life, for the first 15 years with the disease, it was just me. And then my mom turned 50 and she became diagnosed with hiplegic migraine. And then it also became transparent that my grandmother, who was an immigrant and didn't speak English, and due to the language barrier and the lack of doctors in the minority field, she was also never diagnosed with migraine. So by the time I turned 20, I was now battling migraine every day. I saw 6 different doctors, 4 different states, 36 treatments that did not work out for me. And I was in a place where I was really upset and I was really angry, and the depression got really bad. It was every day the pain was high and I couldn't find relief. I couldn't find a treatment plan that would help. And I knew that I was in a bad mental state, but I also saw someone when I look in the mirror that wanted to fight, even though I had those black circles under my eyes and I was losing weight because eating was really hard for me because it caused more pain. So that's when I found Miles for Migraine 2 years ago. And I joined a support group and I found a community of migraine warriors. And it gave me the strength to find acceptance with my disease. For a long time, I wore the mask. We talked in the last presentation, it was talked about that we always say I'm fine, that everything's okay, but I wasn't. I was hiding what I was feeling from coworkers, from even doctors. I didn't want to admit that, you know, I came to you for help, but I'm in a worse state than I was 6 months ago. So it was a very challenging time. And that's when I turned my anger into passion and I started advocating. I started raising awareness. And through that, I found acceptance. And I also found my emotional pain went away because I stopped giving migraine the power to control how I felt and how I saw myself. And that was the biggest change for me through my whole treatment plan. I started having less high intense pain days because I stopped giving the control of how I felt. And we all know, people with migraine, that emotions trigger really bad attacks. And when I was so angry and in high intense pain, I was feeding the monster inside me. So through advocacy, I started volunteering with more organizations with Headache on the Hill and Shades for Migraine, and I expand my migraine network. I found a community of people that taught me about my disease, because for so long it was just me and my family. And now my mom has hiplegic migraine, but I have intractable, and it's 2 completely different migraine. And I learned about all these different advocacies and raising awareness. And when I started with migraine, it was in the late 90s, and I have seen an evolution of migraine treatment since then. And it's because of people like all of you here today raising awareness and sharing your story. It took me 20 years to be able to say, I have migraine, but I'm more than my disease. Having migraine as a child, the stigma was horrific, with family members saying, oh, I'm just seeking out attention, or teachers saying that I have a learning disability because it was hard for me to process school. So I wore a mask for so long because I was stigmatized my entire life. But once I found acceptance, I started sharing the truth that, I'm smiling, but I'm in pain today. I woke up with a migraine this morning, but I'm fighting through it. And that I challenge everyone to make advocacy part of their treatment plan. And advocacy is as simple as sharing a post on social media. And when you're ready, it may take you some time to share your story. I hope you do. Because for me, it was like the weight that I've been carrying for 20 years was lifted off my chest. And I found comfort and passion with meeting other migraine warriors and also people within the community that gave me the strength to share my story, but not only my story that my grandmother never got the chance to explain. So I want to thank Miles for Migraine for providing a community of migraine warriors and also giving me the platform to find acceptance, but encouraged me to continue to raise awareness in my workplace for a long time. I'm 3 years into my career. When I first started, I wouldn't tell anyone that I have no idea what you just said because I have really bad brain fog. I would just continue to fight through it. And now I'm very open to my coworkers. And I found that there's people on my team with also with migraine that we support each other. So I challenge you to take off the mask and not hide all your pain. And when you're ready, share your story because your story matters and it could change someone's life. Once I started sharing posts on social media, people I grew up with reached out to me saying, I also have migraine and thank you for advocating for me. So that I'm going to keep my story short because I know we're also running on time, but thank you to Miles for Migraine for being my life jacket when I felt like I was drowning and giving me the strength to find acceptance and also a passion for advocating and raising awareness for a disease that affects my entire family.
Well, thank you so much.